Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself, Suprit, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for January 12th, 2022. And I'm joined by Ridwan here. So, Ridwan, what did you think about Dynamite this week? Thought it was a little underwhelming.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing. It felt more of a filler show, except like there were only a few matches that mattered, and in most of like the segments itself, it was partially it was segment heavy, partially it was filler, but overall I thought it was like they've done a lot better before than this.
Was it because of the crowd?
Probably, yes. Like there were like less crowd in attendance. You could see, even on the hard cam side, you could see the seats were empty. And at the same time, even when, guys like Hangman, whenever they were making their entrances at that time as well, you could see the reactions were also a little tepid.
Yeah, I wonder why it was such a bad attendance.
Probably, I think it's because of of the recent Omicron outbreak is my guess. Other than that, I don't really know what else could be the reason.
If that's the case, then okay. Then, other than that, if it's a bad market, then they should reconsider going back there, in my honest opinion.
But they've drawn like Carolina shows before this. Even like Battle of the Bells was over there, but in a different. It was in Greensboro, I believe. But even then, it was like a pretty packed crowd.
But still, the segments and matches, some of them, like you said, actually didn't mean nothing. Like there were some, like for example, the Punk and Wardlow match. That was something I was looking forward to.
Yes, and also the interim TNT championship match, and even actually the ones that they had advertised, those really meant something because it was heavily built to that story to go somewhere. But other than that, like there were promos were there mostly, and some matches were there here and there, which we'll get to, of course. So even they felt like a little, they took something off the show for me.
But let's get down with the review. But before that, if you're new to Slam Up Wrestling, then make sure to like, share, subscribe, do that first stuff. Check out our other content links provided in the description below. So they kicked off Dynamite here with Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish.
Baby.
Yes, baby, of course. Very non Dynamite, tradition here. Like usually, you should get a wrestling match, but they are opening up with a promo segment, and this was a very impromptu, if you can say that way. So I was thinking that he was done with the best friends, and he will, call out Adam Hangman Page, because he's ranked number one. But he's talking about the best friends again, and he was talking about how 2021 was a really solid year for him and the other guys, and he has high hopes for 2022 as well. So he puts over Red Dragon as the best tag team in God's green earth. So this prompted the Young Bucks to show up, and the crowd wasn't happy to see these guys. So Nick Jackson, no, it wasn't Nick Jackson, it was Matt Jackson, right? He was talking about how he kicked COVID's ass,
Yes.
and they got into the ring, and like always, Young Bucks, Red Dragon got into some verbal battle, and I think Kyle O'Reilly's new AEW gimmick is that he forgets everyone's name, that he doesn't know what's going on in AEW.
It's relatable in a way.
Yeah, he calls the best friends the super friends.
Yes, the Super Friends, and later on in the show when they were doing a backstage promo, so he was calling him Landon for
Landon.
Brandon Cutler. Yes, Landon.
So while these two tag teams are having, this verbal battle, the best friends show up, Orange Cassidy taking the lead. So
Yes.
Cassidy went face to face with Adam Cole, Adam Cole was, just you could say daring Cassidy. What the hell are you gonna do? So they got into a big brawl. So what happened was Adam Cole at the end, while the rest of the group were just fighting outside. Adam Cole and Cassidy were the one in the ring. So so no, it was actually Adam Cole who was going to super kick Cassidy, but Chris Statlander came for the save. So this prompted Doctor Britt Baker to show up. She took
The
out
himself.
Statlander. So at the end, it was the Elite and the Doctor standing tall over the fallen best friends. And as we culminate to the end of this segment, we were about to see the super case from the super click, but it was interrupted by the good doctor. They shared Adam Cole and Britt Baker shared a good little moment in the ring, and there you go, man. What did you think about this segment? Because this was very Monday Night Raw-ish for me.
Exactly, exactly. It felt very much so, with the promo, the confrontation in the middle of the promo when someone's, talking and then gets interrupted, and then there is an attack to set up something later on. It was very, very much like Monday Night Raw. And the Britt Baker's involvement adds a fresh new wrinkle to this story because, of course, the main highlight is between Best Friends and Super Click and or let's say best friends in the elite or super elite or whatever you want to call them. And of course they were building up to the tension between which side is Adam Cole on. Either is he with the Young Bucks or is he with the Red Dragon? And it's like too many things are popping up at the same time. But I thought the beat down and all that was done really well. And this also sets up for a mixed tag match on, I think, next week's Dynamite is what they've confirmed.
Yes, it's
Which
happening on next week's Dynamite because there is something else happening on Rampage this week.
Yes, yes, which we'll get to. And so that's like Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Adam Cole. Like, since we don't have our videos on today, so it's hard to do the DMD. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be great, and it's always a cool moment to see, a real life couple embracing themselves on TV. So that's Adam Cole and Baker. So that was awesome. And yeah, I'm looking forward to whatever they're doing. But I think it's only a matter of time before this feud ends and Adam Cole, given he's number one in the rankings, goes on to face Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a short while. But about this Elite and sorry, the Young Bucks and Super Dragon thing, I don't know
Red
if I
Dragon.
should. Yeah, what did I call?
Super Dragon.
Shit.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm watching a lot of Botchamania these days.
It's okay. So am
But
I actually.
yeah, but this Red Dragon Young Bucks thing, I don't know. I'm excited anymore about this whole story.
We know we kind of know where this is going towards. But I'm not sure if now is the time they should do it or probably later on. But the matches are going to be superb, and it's all that matters in the end.
Yeah, so at this point, I'm just waiting for the match. The journey, the story that they are trying to tell, I don't know what actually they are, trying to convey.
Yes, and it's good to see Adam Cole being the chaotic neutral in the situation. He's like these two units are bickering, like Young Bucks and Red Dragon, and Adam Cole is like, yeah, this is what we need, a friendly competition. How about that, boys and girls? And this is what makes us great. We are the elite. We are super click. We are blah blah blah. That's what he was saying, and it felt good to see that, knowing what's in store for the upcoming weeks or months.
But moving on from that, we had a little video package for Wardlow. He is being portrayed as the conductor of violence, the maestro of
Yeah,
destruction.
the orchestrator of violence is also a good way
Too much
to put
nicknames,
it.
man.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
but
Well,
this was a
it's good.
solid package, man, on Wardlow.
Yes, it's his Powerbomb Symphony as it is over with the crowd, and it's always good way to build someone up who's still a young up and comer in the ranks, and of course going to face a legend like CM Punk.
Yeah,
It's a great thing all around.
yeah. For a while, I thought this was a package for Wardlow. So no, sorry, not Wardlow, Walter.
Oh yes, that's a good way to put it. And I think even Walter has like a multiple powerbomb move in his arsenal. Does he?
No, his thing is one power bomb and we go home. There you go.
Yeah. Take it home, take it home.
Yeah, Walter is great by the way. He's special.
Of course he is.
But moving on, as we mentioned Wardlow here, let's talk about the big match: CM Punk versus Wardlow. And in for what this in terms of the story that they were trying to tell, this match was really good.
Yes, I enjoyed this match for a lot of reasons because, of course, like there were two stories simultaneously, simmering down. And if, given what I had said earlier, it was mostly a filler show because the matches were so and so. But at the same time, it was very story driven in a way because like a lot of things progressed for the good, and we somehow know where they are heading towards and what they are trying to tell us. But coming back to this match, yes, it was a very story-driven match, and yeah, it was done really well to further whatever they were trying to tell us.
And I think Wardlow was made to look like $1 million.
Oh, absolutely! Like he looked superb in this match. Like getting to dominate CM Punk itself in the match. And he was also adhering to his boss's rules at the same time, getting over with the crowd. And the crowd also wanted more of that. So, it's working. Everything is working for Wardlow in this at this point, and I couldn't be any happier.
So, like this match was just this was not even 60-40 in terms of offense. Like Warlow was on most of the offense. Like Punk was the one who was trying to take down Warlow in the first half.
Yeah. Yes, like initially, the I and there was a feeling out process of Punk who was going against someone who is like probably more than like I was gonna say twice his size, but no. So like Wardlow had like a 30 to 40 pound advantage over him, and even on height. And then Punk was trying to evade him at first, but then he was trying to use strikes to take down the bigger man. So that was like a good story that they were telling initially, but then Wardlow, once he got onto the power bomb, like then there was a point where Wardlow wanted to do the power bomb, and then Punk was doing the 10 punches, and then Wardlow takes advantage of that.
Yeah, that
And then
was
from
powerful.
there, yes, and then from there it go like it does the power bomb symphony, and then Wardlow, goes for the cocky pin, the Chris Jericho style, with one leg on the opponent's chest, and then MJF stops him, and then he's like, "I want more. That's what I pay you money for." And then
Wait,
Wardlow
wait,
does more power.
wait.
Yeah.
So, was it because he wanted to see Wardlow deliver more pain to Punk, or was it the feeling that yeah, this guy is going to beat Punk easily?
That's a good question, but like from what we could tell and what the commentators were trying to tell us was that MJF just wanted to get Punk destroyed because just so that MJF couldn't face him anymore.
You know what?
Basically, MJF wanted CM Punk to be killed by someone like Wardlow.
You know what? I actually wanted Wardlow to beat Punk clean.
that would have been super like solid. And if Wardlow wasn't any over, this would have put him like, way beyond the word over, way beyond the word over, because he would be destined for a title shot from there, because he was already number two in the rankings, and yeah.
And after MJF ordered, Wardlow to, continue the punishment, we see a big power bomb on the table. So referee was asked for the count, and Punk barely made it to the ring. I loved that spot.
Yes, it's one of my gripes in AEW, like since I've, started watching regularly. It's like the person really lies down dead until probably nine. Like actually till nine, he just like, completely motionless. And then when just as the referee is about to go for 10, like, just raising just one finger, and then the guy like, miraculously makes it.
I
But in this case, it was done really well. Like, CM Punk was just trying his best to get out, and Aubrey had also started the count pretty late after Wardlow smashed CM Punk, so that also gave him a bit of recovery time. And then he was trying to get in the ring beyond his beyond his efforts, and then he made it. So Punk was the only person I've seen so far in AEW who's made that 10 count, like beating the 10 count work.
and a bit of a overdone spot, if you ask me.
Like in AEW, you're saying?
In wrestling in general, like if you watch in New Japan match,
Yes,
they do a 20 countdown, right?
yes. And
And
that's also a good way to get, to like give the opponent some recovery time till, if they're so beat up and they want to enter back into the ring.
yeah, in their case, someone actually makes it back in the ring by 19.
Yeah, it's always I think Makoto Abe is the name of the ring announcer, and then from 15 he just like ramps up the intensity, like 13, 14, 15, 16.
16,
Yeah,
17.
Makoto, yeah. The man, Makoto Abe is his name. I'm not sure, but whoever, like, if his name I've taken properly, he is awesome.
But back to this match, as Punk makes it back in the ring, then I think there was yet another distraction by MJF, if I'm not wrong. And this is what
Yeah.
led to, Punk, getting a surprise roll up, and Punk gets the victory, but he was fully destroyed by Wardlow in this, occasion.
Yes, he was, and yeah, MJF was just asking him to do more power bombs after CM Punk, after and I think Wardlow did give him one power bomb. I don't exactly remember, and then like Punk gets enough recovery time, and then he just puts Wardlow in a small package to pick up the victory. So not exactly a shocking upset or whatever, but this did its job because they're also teasing dissension between MJF and Wardlow since God knows how long. And it also like CM Punk has barely made it through someone like Wardlow, and MJF is also pissed. And CM Punk isn't dead as per MJF. So that's also another story, and story done well.
And post match, we were about to see, I think, finally the dissension. Like things were about to explode between Wardlow and MJF. Like MJF was, just pissed at Wardlow and was laying his hands. So Wardlow had heard enough, and before anything could happen, Sean Spears showed up to be the little peacemaker here, and there you go.
Man, love me some chair powered on my TV screen,
But
which is, yeah.
what was I going to say? So I think they are handling this story very well. Like this is a success already. This Punk MJ.
Yes, Punk MJF also. I think it's one of the best angles that they're doing at the moment in in AEW itself. And besides that, like I no one expected them to fuck it up, to be honest. And I think they've done like a superb job of it, and getting to that eventual match is going to mean something. But I'm not sure if, doing it on any of these special shows would be worth it, because this deserves a pay-per-view match.
Yeah, this you can easily put it on Revolution at this point. We were thinking in December, November, how are they going to get to the pay per view? Now I think they can easily pull it off at this point.
But Revolution is still a couple months away. Like it's on March 7th, and today we are on like January 13th or 14th. So I don't think like is there's still a lot of time between the pay-per-view and right now. Probably like my guess at this point would be, till beach break, but they have to extend it till Revolution. I don't see any other way they could, have that eventual match.
But at least I think he'll be going through. I'm talking about CM Punk. He'll be going through the rest of the Pinnacle members. If that's the thing that they're doing, because next week it's Punk versus Spears.
Yes. And like, yeah, getting to that, MJF also, just exploded on the stage, and he was like, yeah, you couldn't get the job done, Wardlow. You are an oaf. And then he was like, Punk, you just barely made it through. And I hate you for that. And like, you were going through someone, like, called Wardlow an oaf, which means like a useless giant. And so that's also leading somewhere, as we know.
Yeah,
So next week, he's like, MJF was teasing again, like, you want that match, crowd, and then he just calls them like inbred hicks or redneck, yes. And that's what, like, he was still insulting the crowd. He's like, you want the match? You want the match? I'll give you that match. It's going to be CM Punk versus Shawn Spears. And I was like, of course that's going to happen. That was going to happen. And probably next week or the week after, we'll see CM Punk versus FTR in a handicap match. That has to happen because MJF is the one who is setting up these stakes.
yeah. The FTR thing could be optional, but for now, he's getting Sean Spears. That's good, and we have to figure out how you fill in that spots of the build up till we get to the pay per view.
Hmm. Prob you remember when MJF did the Labors of Jericho thing?
Yeah, I was actually getting the same feeling when they announced that Punk will be facing Sean Spears.
Yes, I'm also getting the same vibes from that, but it's just Pinnacle members as of now. Probably like some more people MJF will hire because he's rich and he pays Wardlow big money. So he could use that money, get more people from outside AEW to destroy CM Punk, and then he'll still make it through.
Hey, by the way, I love the fact that these guys had more than one segment on this show.
Yes, and like it's like I mentioned earlier, it's the best angle in AEW as of right now. So they had to give it more TV time.
But moving on, we had Dante Martin versus Powerhouse Hobbs, and he was accompanied by Ricky Starks. So I think this is their second match. I think they had a match on Dynamite a couple of months ago, and
Yep.
this was a very similar to the Punk and Wardlow match for some weird reason.
Yeah, it's always like the big man getting most of the offense, and then the small man somehow makes it through.
But here, the story was Ricky Starks was constantly, getting involved, taking shots at Dante, and as we get to the end, as Dante Martin was finally getting some offense on the big guy. And what happened was Ricky Starks once again decided to, show up, was having some, argument with the referee as he was standing on the apron. But out of nowhere, Jay Lethal finally shows up, gets rid of Ricky Starks. Hobbs gets distracted by this, and Dante hits the big moonsault press to get the big win.
Nosedive.
They call it the nosedive.
Yeah. It's not really a finisher in my book, but whatever. They like Dante hits the nosedive and gets the pin on Hobbs. So Dante somehow makes it through. My favorite part was like after the match when he was trying to escape Dante after picking up the win, and he was near and Ricky Starks was trying to jump on Dante from the stairs, and then Dante just escapes and Starks falls on his face. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
You know my favorite part from this match was? You were watching this on Fight, right?
Yep.
Uh, Hobbs actually did the bullhead
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was doing those mounting punches, and he was dedicated to each and every member of Team Taz.
Oh yeah, that was awesome too. He's like, this for you, Taz. Ha, this for Starks. And then he's like, this for Hook. And no, he, when it was Stark, and Starks was like screaming from, the ringside, this is from me and my mama. And then Hobbs hit him. And then he's like, this is for Hook. And then he hits him again. There was also one part of this match where the crowd was chanting like Biggie at him, and Hobbs was like, shut up, bitch. And then the crowd starts laughing. So that was also, I mean, it wasn't a spot, but it was a good, funny moment in the match
Yeah,
because
yeah. Don't
with
mess
that
with
crowd,
Hobbs, man.
yeah. I mean, Hobbs is awesome, dude. Like,
Yeah, he can literally
and
kill. He can literally kill anyone with his smear.
good one, right? And I noticed something interesting while, when Hobbs was coming out to the ring and his name card, it also showed that he was number two ranked. So that's also interesting. Probably after the Wardlow's loss, they must have updated the rankings or something. And Hobbs has also been picking up wins on Dark and Elevation.
Hey, by the way, so the rankings reset when in the beginning of the calendar year, right?
Yes, but the top five remains the same.
So you mean to say these guys were the top five in December 2021?
Yeah, like probably till the end of December 2021. But what okay, so this is kind of confusing because Adam Cole was number two and Danielson was number one. Danielson lost a shot and Danielson went down. Adam Cole is number one, Wardlow is number two, and now Wardlow also lost his match, so Wardlow must go down. So Hobbs probably, he was number five or something, so he must have gone up. But again, like Jungle Boy and Scorpio Sky were also in contention for number three and number four. It's I
Jungle,
don't know, like their
I think
ranking
Jungle
system
Boy
does
was
have
not
a
in
bit of
the men's singles ranking.
yes, but no, he was in the top five singles rankings the last I checked.
I think once
But
he
again,
started, constantly being a tag team again, he went down, I guess.
yeah, probably. But yeah, the ranking system does have its loopholes, but again, man, they do need to sort that out. Like, how do they even seed these contenders after the reset or whatever?
But
I
I
like the
guess,
approach, but yeah, they do need to sort it out a little more because it was working pretty fine until like, last summer or something.
but as we move on, a little interview with Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle. So apparently, Inner Circle has been voted Faction of the Year by PWI. How?
God knows how. Who else would you have given the award to?
Faction of the Year.
Yep,
2021. Did we have any faction?
we had
Undisputed
plenty of
Era broke up in the beginning of the year. Bullet Club not relevant anymore.
sadly.
Yeah, Hurt Business broke up. I don't know when. Was it 2020 or 2021?
No, they broke up twice actually. I mean, yeah, they broke up last year on the way on route to WrestleMania. This was when Lashley was feuding with Drew McIntyre.
Are there any faction in WWE? AEW? I don't know. Fuck.
AEW has plenty, but yeah.
But no, it doesn't matter, man. They got faction of the year. Good for them. I don't like Inner Circle. Inner Circle is actually one of the most overrated groups in modern history.
Hmm. I would certainly agree to that, but yeah, I mean, at this point, I think it's overstayed its welcome. Probably they could still remain in a circle, but go on their separate ways, like how it was before they feuded with the American top team.
But here, that's why we have Eddie Kingston coming for the save. We'll get to him in a while. So Jericho, was talking about the PWI award that the faction got, and was talking about this main event
It
match between Sammy Guevara and Garcia for the interim TNT title, and said that he actually was going to be ringside to make sure 2.0 don't get involved in this match. So, like I said, Eddie Kingston, came in this interview and
was a
was
guy.
saying,
He he's just like popped into the camera, he's just asking what's up, and then he just goes on to berate Jericho. Yeah, that's my guy.
and he was even mentioned Ortiz and Santana, took a little shot at them and said that you know why you aren't tag team champions? It's because of this guy, pointing to Jericho. So then Jericho and Kingston, had a little verbal battle, and Santana finally decided to calm things down and just walked out. Even Ortiz walked out, and then followed by Jake Hager, and there you go.
Yes, the ass kicking is coming for Chris Jericho, and I could not be any more excited.
Yeah, it's very similar to what's happening with the Elite. We are just waiting for the end game.
Yeah, that's for true. That's for true. And like there was a point where Jericho, before Eddie Kingston showed up, Jericho was like, "Yeah, when ever since day one in AEW, we promised that we are going to take over the company. We will take." Then first he says, "Take over the country." By mistake. Then he says company and then the continent. And he's like, the country part makes so much sense for Jericho given his political allegiances, but I digress. But yeah, the Eddie Kingston involvement was also done really well. Like, Eddie Kingston's, I mean, he's awesome as always. Stalking on, like, he spouts, I wanted to say gospel. Whatever he says is literally gospel to my ears. So, and then Jericho was warning, after the rest of the inner circle guys left, and Jericho was like, "I'm going to make sure that I'll be ringside. I'll make sure that these 2.0 guys won't show up. And if you get involved, if they get involved, I'll kick their ass. But if you get involved, I kick your ass too." And Eddie Kingston's like, "Oh, please, I'm begging you, kick my ass." Because Eddie Kingston knows that he's going to fuck Jericho up. So that was also done really well. So, I'm excited for what they are going to do. This is also a feud that needs a match that needs to happen on the pay-per-view instead of any of these special Dynamite episodes.
We'll have to wait and see. But as we move on, little promo from the world champion here, Adam Hangman Page, and he talks about saying that his previous bouts have went over almost 90 minutes. Talks about beating Brian Danielson, who's considered a best in the world. And as he moves along with this promo, he's interrupted by Dan Lambert. As Hangman said that he wants new
Oh God,
challengers.
shoot me! Oh God, shoot me!
So Lambert walks in, the usual booze from the crowd, and he questions Page being a cowboy and talks about some great cowboys in wrestling in the past. For example, Bill Watts, Stan Hansen, Terry, and Dory Funk. And
Not No mention of JBL. Good.
He's not a cowboy.
He is a cowboy. I mean, he was a blackjack at one point, and then later on became the New York real estate millionaire.
What?
I mean, that was his gimmick, right? Then JBL, he just becomes a no, sorry, not real estate. He becomes like a stock market broker and millionaire. But that's when he becomes WWE champion. But before that, he was like a redneck with Farouk, and then he was like a cowboy for most time.
Yeah, he was American version of Stan Hansen for a while.
Yeah, that they tried really hard to make him that because they even gave him the finisher like that, but then yeah, never worked out.
But moving on, Page then responded here to Lambert, called him a walking Facebook profile.
A boomer basically. Like nowadays it's only old people who are on Facebook, and then Dan Lambert is someone who just gives out, like these information about everyone, be it himself or his guys.
So Page was, asking Lambert, whether Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, are willing to, challenge Hangman Page here. So Lambert, actually compliments, Page here, saying that he didn't take the Cody Rhodes, approach of doing backstage politics and getting title shots, and said that Page has earned everything except, for his persona, like he was in, like I mentioned earlier, and he said that he was once again, mentioning, sorry, comparing Page to other cowboys, like not actually cowboys. Are Dick Murdoch and the Mulligans cowboys?
Blackjack Mulligan was, yes. Dick Murdoch is not someone I remember, and I mean it was way probably 60s or 70s he was wrestling, and I'm not sure about that, but I think if he was alluding to them, then most definitely because Dan Lambert knows his history.
And basically, Lambert says that this whole thing that Page is doing is completely uh, full of shit. I think he said cowboy shit. And then Page
Yes.
responds to Lambert that uh, something like, him turning down a six-figure, opportunity and coming here and starting a new company. That's cowboy shit. Living on a farm with
Even
some
winning
animals.
yeah, even winning the world champion after, joining this company.
And even that's cowboy shit. So
Yep.
basically, he challenges Lambert to come to the ring and basically fight. And all of a sudden, Lance Archer shows up. He's back. He chases down, Lambert to the ring, and Lambert almost shit his pants here in this occasion. So basically, Lambert is, cornered by both Page and Archer. So Archer decides to, jump Page here, and as he brings in a chair in the ring and hits the blackout on the chair, setup chair by the way, looked brutal. And
Mm,
there you go,
oh,
man. He
like,
has attacked the world champion, and by default, Archer should be the next guy in line, going after the world title. You'll have to figure out a way how you you put Archer in that position for getting another title shot.
that's true. Probably has to get a win over Hangman in some fashion because I don't see any other way they could actually have a title shot because the ranking systems and whatnot. But again, there is also something that I'll get to later on in the show. Even then, like, man, I don't get Lance Archer. Like, he's he's the big show of AEW at this point.
I was just going to make that reference.
Man, he just turns heel and face on a whim. Like we don't even know what his character is supposed to mean and what is he, supposed to do as a. Because I was enjoying him as a face character, because he was like this big ass giant who could do like these aerial moves and pop the crowd, and the crowd actually loved him for being this stand up badass, and he was going to beat the shit out of people. But then, like, now he's heel again, and I don't get it. Like, why are you like he was also getting over with the crowd, like, in a great way. And the crowd actually likes him, and even then, it's like, man, it's pretty confusing at this point. So it's kind of sad that way.
Yeah, I don't know. This Lance Archer thing in AEW, I can't say it's failed or something. He's been
Yeah, it's
featured a
not.
lot.
Yeah, he's featured a lot, but with all of these turns, it's very much like Big Show, you lose interest in that person because of how many times he is turned, and you don't even know what his motivations are anymore.
Basically, AEW, we could say that they failed to capitalize on Lance Archer's momentum after 2019 was done.
Yeah, actually, yeah, ever since he lost to Cody, and then after that, then he lost to Mox. And after he lost to Mox, he turned face. He was facing Eddie Kingston, while Eddie Kingston had his faction with Butcher and Blade and Lucha Brothers, and then Park saves the Lucha Brothers to reform Death Triangle, and then Lance Archer is like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So even then, like, he was getting some momentum after that, when he defeated Eddie Kingston in a singles match. And then you remember, during the Brody Lee celebration show, he dressed up as, Brody Lee's Luke Harper character. And after that, he teamed with Mox facing Kenny Omega and Kenta, the original Forbidden Door thing. So it's like it's always fluctuated. And yeah, like you had said that Archer, as a character hasn't gotten over, but as a wrestler has been booked well. But you could also say the opposite, because I felt that Archer as a character has also gotten over, but again, he hasn't been booked well. So it goes both ways, like being poorly booked and being a poor character, which is weird.
Yeah, he is in a very weird spot, but he's doing something at least.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's talk about Arn the Glock Anderson. He was backstage with Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson. So apparently, Brock and Lee Johnson are a tag team now, and they are
Yeah, they have for a while,
have that
and they've been teaming up on that as well.
they are teaming up on Dark.
Yeah.
There you go. So next week, we are getting Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson facing FTR, because this came about when FTR and Tully interrupted these guys. And Dax Harwood here actually killed me. He was claiming to be the real son of Arn Anderson.
He has been for a long time. If you cast your mind back to 2017, when Jason Jordan was revealed as Kurt Angle's son, and then Dax Howard, when he was Scott Dawson back then, he was like tweeting out, "Dear Mr. Arn Anderson, please do a paternity test and let me know if I'm your son or not."
And
Because, I mean, FTR is also basically a tribute act to Brainbusters in a way, with Arn and Tully. And like
that
Dax is the Arn, and Cash is the Tully of the team.
until they decided to go full Midnight Express.
Yeah, with the theme, yes, but as wrestlers, they are still Brainbusters, very much so.
So even if Tully actually, invited Arn to, join them in their group, maybe in the Pinnacle. But the end story here was we are getting this tag match next week on Dynamite, if I'm not wrong.
Yep, I think like they didn't announce it for Dynamite, so most likely it's going to be on Rampage next week, that is.
I think they are doing this on Dynamite.
Yeah, probably. Like they'll announce it later. Don't think like Yeah, probably it's going to be on Dynamite, but again, they'll let us know next week itself.
Feels like a random match, but there has to be something happening, right?
Yeah, it most certainly will.
Yeah, we could see the arrival of some them boys.
Sorry,
I said we could see the arrival of them boys.
them boys. Oh, the Briscoes, you mean?
You didn't get the them boys reference, man. Come on, man.
No, I did not.
Shame, pretty shame. But yeah, man, the Briscoes and FTR have been going, having solid back and forth on Twitter. At this point, it should really come across on TV.
It's only a matter of time they do, and uh, even what do you say? Like, recently ROH announced the Super Card of Honor show that they'll do in April. That's going to be like, very championship heavy, and anyone can be a part of it. So most now that Briscoes are the ROH champs, FTR will most certainly have a match with them at that point or
Yeah.
before that.
For a while, it was looking like they were going to do this on AEW television, but now that ROH is back, I will not be surprised if I see it on Super Card of Honor.
Has to happen, man. Come on, they need like special attraction matches to bring back crowds.
Great, man. Great for ROH. And I think it would be great if, Tony Khan opens his checkbook for the Briscoes.
Wouldn't be against that.
He was already has a tag team division. I think we need another top tag team in that, just to carry the
It's
rest of
the
the up and
deepest
comers.
tag division. That's what it's the deepest tag division in wrestling today, which is awesome. And tag team wrestling rules, no matter what.
But as we move on, so let's talk about Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. So how many times have they faced in the past at this point?
This was the fourth one that they had.
Jeez, and this was a little different. Like Shida was attacked in the entranceway. Like Deep just went after the injured knee, and referee asked Shida whether she can continue. Shida was willing to continue, and it was a very
Bushido
one-sided,
style.
yeah, very one-sided affair here. Like Deep continuously, went after the knee, and this led to her locking in the what she calls it, the
Serenity.
Serenity lock,
Yep.
and quick tap out by Shida, and there you go, man. Did something different in this case, and I think I would appreciate it.
Yeah, this like the fourth time that they faced in a month, actually more than a month, and I was like, okay. Like they whatever whenever they face they've done like very well with each other even if like I felt it's been a bit repetitive, but this time it was done quite different where it was like a very one-sided affair. Like Serena was just pummeling Shida's knee, and then she locks in the Serenity lock too, and then the referee just calls for the match, and Shida basically she did not quit, the referee quit for her. Bit of a screw job angle, maybe. And then Shida was berating referee Paul Turner after the match, and then Serena just beats the shit out of her again, with the kendo stick. And when Shida was attended to by Doc Sampson, we had Tai J and Sky Blue show up to, aid Shida. So next week now we're getting Serena D versus Sky Blue because Sky Blue came to, help Shida as well. So that's weird, but again, like we're getting something different next week, and I appreciate that. Probably, they should hold their, because both ladies are at 2 wins apiece. So they should hold this match for like a later date now, and Shida should just go to quote unquote, recuperate from her knee injury because she's been selling this knee since the first time they faced.
Now the eventual final match has to be, yeah, some sort of stipulation.
The 2 out of 3 falls, I feel. Oh fuck. The 2 out of 3 falls is going to be awesome. I feel so. Like I've used awesome a lot on the show, but again, I'm excited for what's going to come.
Who are you, the Miz?
Yeah, probably. Or Mike Awesome, biggest Mike Awesome fan.
The 70s guy?
Yeah, no, not the 70s guy. The ECW champion Mike Awesome was great. Yeah, WCW really killed his career.
But moving on, I would love a submission match though.
Yeah, a submission, no.
No, you don't like?
Yeah, a submission match would be good because like Serena would try to be this pompous person, like nah, have a submission move, and then Shida would work hard. And Shida has always been someone, who's fighting the odds every single time she is in the ring. Despite that, I feel a 2 out of 3 falls would make more sense because both ladies are 2 wins apiece.
But as we move on from this,
And
we
it's all sorry to interrupt you. And 2 out of 3 falls are often used like in traditional pro wrestling as this feud ender or like a blow off match has often been a 2 out of 3 falls. If you remember, like recently, like 6 years ago, probably 5 years ago, we had the DIY and Revival, the current FTR. They had their blow off match in a 2 out of 3 falls.
and DIY one, right?
Yep. That's like one of my favorite modern tag matches.
Arguable.
I mean, personal favorite, yes. Because that kind of brought my love for tag team wrestling back.
But I will agree on with you on the last point.
Yeah, for sure. I said one of my favorites though, so there are more than this.
But speaking about tag teams, we hear from the new tag team champions, Jurassic Express. And by the way, Marco's stunt is done from AEW, right?
Apparently, yes. Because I mean, he's also shooting The Voice. He's a contestant over there, which is good for him. But again, like yeah, even Melzer speculated that AEW is not choosing to renew, and it's not exactly a big loss, like no disrespect to Marco Stunt, and they just upgraded on him with Christian, so that's good.
So, yeah, he's going to be fine. And he did what he could do in AEW.
Yes, I thought he was used pretty decently well. He was very much a jobber, but a jobber to the stars, no less.
But the new champs were here for an interview segment. Christian was, very happy that they finally got the belts and then sent his well wishes to Ray Phoenix, put him over. And he was, the champs were saying what is next. And basically, they were throwing down an open challenge. And here comes the Dark Orders, John Silver and Alex Reynolds. And
The
they
Beaver
said,
Boys.
did you call them the Beaver Boys?
Yes, that's what their nickname was before they joined AEW, like
At
before
this
their
point,
tag name.
yeah, at this point, they should go back to being Beaver Boys and not do, be the members of Dark Order.
I mean, I enjoy them being part of the Dark Order.
Yeah, but gets pretty stale quickly.
Probably, yes.
Even their BTS kids don't hit anymore.
Yeah, there's something that I noticed as well. This past week when Kyle O'Reilly called them a Dark Order, I thought it was hilarious.
But Silver and Reynolds are, the first challengers for the new champs. And we are getting this match on Rampage for the tag titles. And there you go.
Yes, yes, and Silver and Reynolds are number 5 on the rankings. So that's also pretty weird
Kind of makes sense. I think so.
because of the open challenge thing. Yes,
But
because it's always champion's prerogative, so it's good that way. It makes sense in that aspect. So, yeah.
so as we move on with this show, this was you could say an impromptu match. We had the Real. Is he from Raleigh, North Carolina, Matt Hardy?
He's from Cameron.
Oh, he's from Cameron, but still kind of the home state guy.
Yep.
So it was Penta L Zero M facing Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy had a little pre-match promo, putting himself over in front of this, basically his backyard, and we see a
And his
shot
wife.
of, yeah, we see a shot of Rebby and the kids, the giant Hardy family.
The actual Hardy family office.
Indeed, it's basic. It's not a family; it's just a faction.
I mean, we might have Hardy girls as well because Jeff has a daughter. Matt also had a daughter like this past the like a few months ago. So,
And P.S. Don't mess with Rebby Sky on Twitter.
no, absolutely not. You're in for some murder. You
Indeed,
do.
always stay in the good books.
For sure, for sure.
But these two had a match, and it was not bad. It was fine.
I mean, it was okay with what they could do. I mean, especially with whatever Matt could do by himself.
Uh,
And beyond that, Penta was getting his offense in, man. Penta strikes are like wow.
in
He hits as hard as he can every single time.
in that way. But on that note, I love Penta as a tag team wrestler. Only appreciate him as a singles when he is against someone actually really good in the ring.
Hmm, probably. Yes.
But this was a fine match. Penta gets the win via a package pile driver, and there you go. But shall we? Yo, there was some post match bit in the following this. Like post match, Penta and Alex did a promo like calling out Malachi Black, and as Penta was about to do the zero miedo, lights go out. Malachi Black shows up and attacks Alex Abrahantes. So Malachi and Penta then got into a little fight until the Varsity Blondes show up, and it was basically a 3-on-1 on Malachi. But Malachi could be seen just smiling, and JR, I think he called him Alistair Black.
Yeah, JR was constantly watching last night, as
And
usual, but again, I don't want to hold it against him anymore.
yeah, and as he was not even the Alistair Black, and he was calling the action the way he said it. And Alistair Black, he's smiling. And
Alistair Black, and then he's like, ugh. And Malik, like he knew that he fucked up, and then later on he corrected himself.
and Malachi was actually smiling for a reason. The lights go out. The crowd knew what was going to happen. Like it's been being like being expected for a couple of weeks now, and
Yep.
finally reveal it. Lights come back. It's Brody King. Got a good reaction and destroyed all three baby faces here. And he hit a sick looking, cannonball on one of the Varsity Blondes.
Yep. It's man, we know well. Brody King, basically is Malachi Black as an XXL version. Like I'm not fat shaming him or anything, but like size wise. But again, man, this tag team by appearance itself, it makes so much sense. And then they have like similar offense, so it's hard not to put them together. And here we are, and also they are PWG tag champions as well.
You know what? Brody King's arrival has given Malachi new purpose.
Oh, hell yeah. Because like he was floundering a little since the Cody feud when that the final match happened, and now. they have like you've said that he has a renewed sense of purpose. So being Brody King with his side, uh, yeah, it's going to be great. Both of these guys.
And I think I'm noticing that whoever comes out of a Cody feud doesn't end up well.
It's been a pattern for a while, but probably we saw something, change for the better for a while. But now I think it's fine right now.
But moving on, we had Bear Country versus the Acclaimed. They had a little match, and I think Max Caster's raps are being little, you could say, underwhelming. It doesn't hit different anymore, or is it?
No, I thought this. No, this one was pretty funny. He like took shots at Novak Djokovic, who's been in the news recently for faking his because he's like a proud anti-vaxxer. He's a tennis player, by the way.
Ah, yeah.
So
Oh, that guy.
yeah, he was detained by the Australian authorities. So for basically faking his vaccine, and he's like a proud anti-vaxxer as well. So he was like he was detained for a while, but now he's set free. So that was a reference, and then there were more. But yeah, I see what you're going with. Like it's not as sizzling or as fire anymore as it was before.
And basically, they had a match, something you would say out of AEW Dark.
Yeah, the like I said, like I was referring earlier to a filler match, this was most certainly that.
So, it was the Acclaimed who got the win. Caster hit the mic drop, really good looking elbow drop on one of the, I think it was Bronson, and the
Yep.
new woman. But post match, as the Acclaimed was celebrating, here comes Sting and Darby Allen. Darby Allen,
Yes.
the thing was, Sting was actually, came out of the entranceway, while Darby Allen, I think he popped out from under the ring and hit his signature, killer suicide dive
Suicide
on
dive
one of the Acclaimed members.
with
And I think it was Caster.
yeah, with a skateboard no less.
So Sting and Allen actually, got rid of the Acclaimed here, hit the Scorpion Death Drop Sting on Caster, and there you go, man.
Bones.
Was it Bowens?
Yeah, it was Bones.
And yeah, the baby faces stood tall, and yeah, you could see a tag match between these two. But the main story
Yeah, it's
is
it's made official. It's made official for next week
Dynamite or Rampage. Dynamite, right?
in Dynamite. Dynamite.
So the big story is these Sting and Allen are they in the top five?
Apparently, yes. Like they were around five or something. No, five was silver in annals. I think they were,
Yes.
yeah.
They are ranked.
And acclaimed, yeah, they're ranked and acclaimed is number one.
I don't know, man. They could really
Yeah, they
build
did
these
mention
guys.
acclaimed is number one. Yeah.
They can build these guys to finally get a tag title shot.
Yeah, next week I feel with Sting, these guys being number one and taking a loss to Sting and Darby, so we might see Sting and Darby in title contention sooner rather than later. But my guess is probably they could have it at Revolution.
I think it makes sense of Revolution seeing the star power.
Exactly.
But let's wait and see. But let's talk about this video package from Park. So his update is that he is stuck somewhere again, but in this case he is blind, fully blind. You could see him, being taped by this some white cloth, and and this time he's actually not angry, and he appreciates this blessing, and he has a different perspective now, and his vision is near, and his vision is clear, That's what he said.
Yep, it's very fiend-like because how Malachi, misted him and then now. But I honestly I didn't get this one. Like, is he breaking away from Death Triangle or we are seeing a new approach or God knows what?
Um, I actually kind of got the reference, but on the other hand, have I ever mentioned how these pack videos are just fucking brilliant?
Man, this guy is in his ring gear 24/7 one. And it's always fun to listen to Park, from with his Geordie accent and being the ruthless bastard that he is.
And in terms of the story, what he mentioned in this promo, like you know that this guy has so many setbacks in the last 2 3 years,
Yep.
but this time he's taking this in a very different way. And in terms of storyline wise about the Malachi thing, I think he's not coming to take revenge on Malachi, but I think he's going to join Malachi.
Yeah, that's what I got from this as well. But I don't know. I wasn't really ready to see that triangle fall apart. But again, like that's more of a personal opinion or a personal bias, if you will.
I,
That
I,
being said, yes, I do get a sense of feeling that, Park might join Malachi. And there could, if that's the case, then we probably could even see Julia Hart joining. So,
yeah, we almost forgot about Julia Hart. She is, I think, bound to somehow join House of Black.
yes, because they were putting the camera a lot on her face when Malachi was, when Brody King had debuted and, he was beating the shit out of Varsity Blondes and Penta.
Why is this Julia Hart thing giving me vibes of the Seth Rollins and Mysterio storyline with Aliyah being involved?
That was that was something in like a whole another dimension because they were like, teasing a romantic relationship or something. But if anything, it gives me vibes of Serena joining the Straight Edge Society.
Well, that was a good upgrade for a reference.
No, thank you.
But I think the Malachi is going to pick up steam again, seeing the stories being he is being involved and House of Black actually being a thing now.
Yes, and this could only propel Malachi to like, bigger things right now because as of now, what really looks like is what, him and Brody going after the tag titles sooner or later. And beyond that, if this even like apart from the run that he will have with Brody, he would also want to do some singles competition. So maybe as TNT champion or even as AEW World Champion, he will very much be in contention. Or if it's only Black and Brody King, then Park might be the singles guy if he joins the House of Black. So a lot of possibilities in this case, and I for one am looking forward to it with curiosity is what I was going to say.
But before we get to the main event, little backstage, interview with Matt Hardy, as he was accompanied by a private party. Hardy is a little disappointed here, and he wants to do something different. He wants a change. He can't, just care about the future of AEW. He wants to care about himself. But he is interrupted by Andrade El Idolo and assistant Jose. So Andrade was talking to Hardy here. He brought some water for him. Good for Andrade here. So he was talking about this business plan. Says that, do you love money? Hardy said, yeah, I do love money. And he was just basically proposing a new business plan. And Hardy said he's intrigued, but he doesn't want to do this meeting in front of the whole world and wants to do something private. And speaking about private, he just abandoned private party here as they had confused look on their faces. So there you go. And my question is, Jeff Hardy is coming to AW, right?
Yes, it
Yes.
is happening. It's as good as as good as done in a way because like even after he got released by WWE, Jeff Hardy appeared on Matt Hardy's Twitch stream saying that he feels great. So it's happening. It's very much happening. But that being said, it's weird that, if it happens because Hardy boys are most definitely going to be faces for the sake of nostalgia. It'll be weird to see Matt Hardy becoming a face again, just from despite all his HFO antics. And besides that, speaking of Andrade, man, he's been on such a run so far.
Good run or bad run?
It's mostly a good run, but for ironic reasons. Like his promos have been like supremely funny, and like I was referring, while we were talking about Sting, like last week he was referring to like Mr. Stink, and then he's like how can he have someone like Darby work for him? Then Shivani is like, nah, he doesn't work for him, and Andrade is like, how you know? He's like, nah, I know them very well. So Andrade not understanding the concept of friendship is like it's hilarious right now. It's like one of the feuds of the year.
You dubbed him as a mafia guy.
Yeah, he is a drug cartel, like a kingpin rather.
There you go. But
So
we'll have to wait and see.
he thinks that he thinks that everyone works for each other. So like he's just too busy sorting out his own mess. So maybe it's probably just the friend that he has had is Jose all along.
But shall we get to the main event?
Yes, we shall.
It's for the TNT Championship. Sorry, the interim TNT Championship. So this is the interim champion Sammy Guevara facing Daniel Garcia, and this was actually pretty good, man. And you know who the MVP of this match was? Daniel Garcia.
Oh, absolutely, man. This was the best match of the night for based on action alone. And there was also a bit of story as well because Daniel Garcia, he's like so young and yet he's advanced so far in his career. And being a student of the game, he was just like he had counter for Sammy's each and every move because he had studied his wrestling style. And Sammy, he was just trying to rely on instincts and just getting the job done while Garcia was like more shrewd and astute with his planning. So they told a good story with that. And like you mentioned, he was the MVP hands down. I thought this was, in a way, it was a coming out party for Daniel Garcia if the crowd didn't know him already. This got him more over in a way that any of his other matches could have.
And some few spots that I actually popped for, like the signature Sammy thing where he does a backflip to escape a running opponent, and
Yes.
then he hits up going for a drop kick, but this time Garcia caught him mid-air, hit a backbreaker.
Yes, that was done really well, and also the strikes that both of them shared in the early stages of the match, like both were slapping each other, and then they were hitting each other with these hard ass kicks. It was kind of like a New Japan never open weight championship match, if you want to put it that way, but shorter
Yeah, with no evil involved.
and no Dick Togo.
Yeah, fuck evil.
Yeah, right, for sure.
But about this match, like I said, Garcia was the guy who stood out. Sammy was a good, you could say, like Sammy was doing Sammy things, and I think at one point he did a crazy looking springboard from like outside, like basically a 450 or a dive.
Yep. Yeah, it's become one of his signature moves as well.
And at
Yeah,
what
he
point?
jumps from one rope to the other and then he just dives onto the other person. It's more of a swanton bomb.
And there was another spot that I really liked. Garcia actually locked in the lion tamer or the Boston crab, and was
And
did it straight into the face of Jericho. That was really lovely.
he was just yeah, he was rubbing it on his face like I can make this look better, bro. And he was making it look so much better than what Jericho does. So fuck Chris Jericho.
Another great spot from Garcia. He actually countered the GTH attempt and locked in a sharpshooter, but he really cranked this one, like really bending Guevara, and this got a big pop from the crowd, like a really ooh, like of reaction from the
Yes,
crowd.
because Sammy was desperately trying to reach down to the bottom rope, and Garcia was desperately trying to avoid him doing that. And then when Sammy hits the rope, Sammy, grabs the ropes, and Guevara is like, sorry, Garcia is like, ah, shit. And then he was trying to take his hands out of the rope. It was like an act of desperation, but it was sold really well. And even the crowd popped for that because, like, it was Sammy, the babyface, who was escaping from the submission move, and Garcia was putting in so much effort to avoid that. So it was done. Like this match was perfect for Daniel Garcia, to look as good as he could with his wrestling style.
So 2.0 would eventually, get involved, getting rid of the two guys who were out there, looking out for them. That was Kingston and Jericho. So they attacked both Kingston and Jericho, and were trying to distract Guevara here. And for a while, I thought, Daniel Garcia is going to get the victory thanks to 2.0, but Guevara was able to get rid of the 2.0 members and hit the GTH, very awkward looking GTH, by the way, on Garcia. And he's
Yeah,
still the champion.
yep. Still the interim TNT champion, no less.
And did you notice when David Crockett, he is actually, presenting the TNT championship for the third straight week, I guess?
I mean, yes, no, the third time in 4 weeks because they've done these North Carolina shows, and given he's a Crockett, they've done like more so in the NC region because of WCW and Jim Crockett Promotions. So he's been involved because of that, solely because of that, I might say.
So as he was presenting the belt to Sammy, you could see Bryce Remsburg, taking precautionary measures, saving Crockett in this position, as the 2.0, the heels came back to attack Guevara here, but
Yes, now I just realized while you were saying it.
and so Jericho came back with Floyd, got rid of the heels, as Kingston also helped in this, you could say, attacking 2.0 and Garcia. And you could see Kingston was a little pissed at Jericho, and they got into a fight, and that's how the show went off the air.
Hmm. Like Kingston was, I think he was trying to hit Matt Lee or Jeff Parker, I don't know. And he was going to hit him with a DDT, and then Jericho hits him with Floyd, and the like whoever took that shot goes out of the ring. So Kingston didn't get to do his move, and he was pissed about it, which was funny.
Yeah, like really organic reaction from Kingston, like, who the fuck is this guy?
Man, like we are waiting for what is going to happen soon, man.
So Kingston versus Jericho at the pay-per-view makes sense. Like there was a lot of whatever I saw in this week's Dynamite, several potential matches that I could see happening at Revolution.
Yeah, a lot of these, and it's only fair if they don't waste it or don't have it on any of these upcoming shows, upcoming special shows, I might add, like Beach Break, for example.
Yeah, and try to give all these matches equal time. Like, don't announce a random match, just 2 weeks away from the paper.
Like it happened with MJF and Jericho, and kind of hurt it.
That was a long-term thing, but yeah, I can see what you are, trying to, portray there.
Yep.
But Jericho versus Kingston could be good for the pay-per-view. And this unification match for the TNT Championship, I think Revolution is a great spot.
Yes, that's. Let's see. Let's see when they do it, because like it was unfortunate that Cody had to, go away because of medical issues, probably COVID or not. But yeah, it's only fair if they do it, because it will mean a lot more instead of doing it on a Dynamite. And this is not a knock on Dynamite that it's going to be wasted, because Dynamite are just as important as the pay-per-view because of these special shows.
And there you go, man. That was Dynamite. And anything you want to say?
Nothing really, I would say. It's just like this week's show was kind of passable. It was entertaining in parts, but also passable. But I mean, they're storing more stuff for the upcoming weeks, and I'm just looking forward to it.
On that note, Ridwan, where can these guys find you?
So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @rid_aman, and you're definitely not watching this in video form, because there's going to be a banner, so I don't know where do I point it. Just when I figured where it actually is now that we don't even see our faces.
Yeah. Or I can make it easier for you. Just go on Twitter, find a Dominic Mysterio pick from 2005 or 6 playing something PSP.
Oh my god, yes. Please, if you're listening to this, do retweet that, because it's getting me a lot of reach.
Please do that, and you can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at Slamhub. Then you Instagram at Slamhub Wrestling. You can catch this review on Anchor and Spotify as well. This was the AEW Dynamite review, and see you guys next time.
Adios.